Hi, it's your neighborhood sociopath. Today, I wanted to point something out that a lot of people make mistakes about: the way to spot a sociopath. Spotting a sociopath can be easy depending on how high or low functioning they are. We'll start with the low functioning, as debatably they're much easier to spot. Low functioning ones have little to no control over their emotions. This means that if they get angry or unhappy, they'll be very quick to lean into violence. Low functioning sociopaths are also prone to addiction. Now, that might not sound identifying. This is the identifying part. Remember, most sociopaths are charismatic and are able to lie and get away with it. So, following the previous details, you know exactly what they're going to lie about and what their end goal is. Now, if they aren't addicted to drugs or going down a bad lifestyle, they're typically quiet and like to work jobs that are less noticed, meaning quietly in the corner, less human reaction, and antisocial behavior. Not everyone who fits this description is a sociopath, but if they do fit this, just keep your eye out for some details. Now, the high functioning sociopaths. I've said it before, but I fall into this category. High functioning sociopaths have extreme control over their emotions. While some are more impulsive than others, they often weigh options over another. This leads to very decisive and smart decisions in the end. For example, many high functioning sociopaths tend to be high in the professional ladder. This stems from a couple of reasons. The lack of empathy a sociopath experience means they aren't afraid to step down or step around people as needed. If it's their job or someone else's, they're going to do what it takes to grow. They won't feel guilt or empathetic to a person, so they'll continue to do their job. They're often successful at their job, going back to the charismatic. They often have others help them divide up the work as a quote unquote friend. In reality, this friendly demeanor is often to make their own lives easier. Coercing someone into doing someone else's job is not difficult if you understand control. This doesn't mean the only time they talk or make friends is to beat them down and collect something they want. Often, sociopaths crave a connection, so they do want to make friends or they do want to have someone to talk to. Separating their urges to make a friend and to make their job easier is much harder for them to do. If you want to tell the difference between someone who is hardworking and someone who's like this, start a conversation and lie about something you know they have no knowledge in and that you have at least minimal knowledge. This will turn into a conversation. They will lie and figure the topic out as they go along, even if they haven't dabbled in it, but they'll pretend to have dabbled in it. This means you might catch them tripping up on their words or taking a second to think about their responses. In turn, that means they're trying to get your attention and create a bond that you didn't know you had beforehand. This reigns true for both high functioning and low functioning. You can treat this concept as the same, but the goals are different, so your conversations will have to be different. Applying both standards and such, they're pretty easy to tell the difference. I've had it done to me, and it's quite hard to explain or come back from. But those are the easiest ways to spot a high functioning and a low functioning sociopath from my experience. This doesn't mean it reigns true for all of them. As a matter of fact, personally, I don't lie my way through a conversation often. I typically like to stay reserved and just listen and then gather my responses based on their responses. As tedious as that sounds, it tends to build a bond a lot easier, a lot quicker. And on top of that, you are able to start a conversation even if you know nothing, no lies needed. I know you're thinking, hey, but the low functioning one doesn't really have a strategy. Well, that's simply because paying attention to their actions is more important than the conversation here. When you're talking to a low functioning sociopath, you already know their habits. It's pretty much clockwork that they'll follow, and they will be creatures of habit. Actually, to a point at which they might have alarms set up to their day to day life, and that's not unheard of. They tend to be impulsive, and that may be their way they control it, or they don't want to be impulsive, so they follow a schedule and just keep to their antisocial behavior. Now, observing is extremely important for low functioning, but high functioning takes more hands on. But I do hope you've enjoyed. It's been your neighborhood sociopath, and I will see all of you in the next one.